Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel. I got a chance to try on this impedance analyzer with the impedance probe, and this is a very rare chance, and I'm going to show you all the initial setup that you need to do before you get to the final result. So what you're seeing here on the left is the remote screen to this impedance analyzer E4990A, and on the right screen is the camera. I'm going to show you how the connections will look like. Let's walk through the impedance probes, what are the accessories that comes along with it when you purchase it. So I'm going to show you the picture of it, and let's walk through one by one. So this is the main impedance probe, and this is the one that you're going to connect as an interface between your probes and also the impedance analyzer. And I'm going to show you how it's connected. And then we have this small tiny little RF connector. The one on your left will be the short, and the one on your right will be the load. And we have the ground, and we have the BNC crocodile clip, and then we have the additional probe tip that comes along with the box, and then we have this probe tip placed in this box, and we have the BNC to SMA connector. So just bear in mind the probe comes with the SMA connector, and if you need to interface it with the BNC to crocodile clip, you need to use the SMA to the BNC connector. So let's get into it, and as you can see here right now we have the mouse connected. It's easier because the touchscreen times just doesn't work with my finger for some reason. And this is the PCB board that we're going to use for the prober, and we have some SMT component up there, and we're going to show you how that is being done. Let's take out the probe head. As you can see, this is the probe and this is the interface. So as simple as just line up. I'm not sure whether you can see that. So just line up the connector onto this part, and the first thing is, let's zoom in. So if you zoom in, you can see that there's some label here. So just line it up together, and this is where you're going to push this pin into, and then start tightening by doing the clockwise maneuver. So I'm going to show you how it looks like. So remember this pin, if you press at the back, you protrude out. See that? So this is where you have to push in and then start turning clockwise to lock it. So of course you have to remove the protector, and just line it up, and then just jiggle in a bit. Then we're going to push in, and then we turn clockwise. Alright, then same for the left. That's it. And we have this prober connector, and before we do anything, this is where I'm going to suggest to set up the rough estimations of what you want to test. For example, you want to test between 20 Hz to 2 MHz. Currently, as you can see here, we stop at 120 meg, which is a bit too far. So I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to go to the sweep setup, and center frequency, let's change it to this, just sweep, and stimulus, let's go to 20 Hz to 2 MHz. You can just type in, and that's it, and return, and you can change the number of points as you wish. Let's set it to 801, enter. So you can see that the result is all over the place because we have nothing connected here. Let's connect the prober, and let's get a rough idea of if this is the one that we want to test. So this is the prober head, and you can see that there's a center pin that's protruding out, and you can actually move it. It's spring loaded. So let's connect this here. And you can see that this point, this silver screw, is to help you to tighten this ground pin. So this ground pin can be rotated 360 degrees depending on where your ground pin is. And if you can see, if I put it this way, so you can see that the center pin is actually protruding further than the ground pin because the center pin can be retracted. So I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to put a capacitor into the probe. Sorry that you can't really see what I'm doing on the camera, but you get the idea. So when I probe in here, consider the result does change a bit, and I can move the result to here, and I can turn on the marker. Just go turn on the marker on the button, and then we can change the frequency of interest. So I'm probing at the capacitor. So let's try to show you here. So there's one capacitor over here, C13, and I'm just probing in this way. Oops, my finger come. Just probing this way. So you can see the results coming out, and let's say that's what I really want to test, and all the setup is what I interested in, the frequency range, the number of points, so 103.25. So the next thing is, of course, we want to run our calibrations. So the first thing is to remove this, because we want to calibrate until the end of the prober without the probe head. That's the first step. So let's go to calibration, return, and we're going to go to this measurements. By the way, before you do anything, let's say this is a measurement that you want impedance and also phase. So this is where you can change impedance, phase, or you can select any other measurements of interest here. So for this exercise, I just change that, and then the next thing I want to do is cal component. By default, it's not selected as this 42941A, so this is why I'm going to select it, because these are the accessories that are connected to it. Then I'm going to do this. The first thing is adapter. So this is a probe, and then adapter setup. And according to the service guide, the user guide, first thing is you leave the probe head open as it is, and then you do the face. It'll take a while, and once it's done, it will show up over here. It will take a couple of measurements before it's finished. So it's done. So we'll save this. And then this is the tricky part. So we have open, short, and load. Open, just leave it as it is. That's what you're seeing here right now. And it's doing the calibrations. Open. So the next thing we want to do is to use the short. So if you remember, this is the short, how the short look like. And if you look by the side, it will be the one on the left side in the box. So this is a short. So we just connect it here. Then we click short. We should be using a torque wrench for these connections, but unfortunately I do not have the torque wrench with me right now. You get the idea. Right, once it's done, undo it, keep it safely. This is the load, something protruding out, and then again connect it. Best is to use a torque wrench. Okay, then we click on load. So once done, you're going to save impedance. So your probe is ready for measurements. You are actually halfway there. So let's say we are using this as an extension from what we have calibrated. So we have to run another round of quote-unquote calibrations to compensate the additional probe head here. So the next thing you do is go back to return, then use a cal. This one, sorry, is fixture compensation. So it's under here. So right now my probe is open. So just click open and start measurement. So when it's done, this will become on. And then short. For short, it's a bit tricky because you need a piece of metal to short between the ground and also the center pin, signal pin. So I'm trying to use this part. See whether it will show you. Yep. So this is one way. So we have a short. So it's done. So load is optional. If you have a board with a load, then you can use that. So that's it. Let's do the measurements again for that capacitor. Let's go back here. And Okay, this is how you do it, how you do the setup, and also the calibrations before you do the measurements. I'm very sure there's one thing that I can do here. Let's turn it on and see whether our measurements does improve. Okay, it's quite tally. Let's turn it on to 3.23, 3.23. So I hope this helped. Thanks for watching.